Hello guys. Today I'm going to do a quick wrap up of what I've been reading recently, and then along with that I'll be showing a couple special editions that tie in with the book that I've been reading. And then lastly I have a very small book haul, very small, and when I say very small I mean one book. Well, I guess you could say technically three books to show. And then lastly, I'll end with my next potential read. So that will be the structure of this video. So obviously, if you've been watching previously, you'll know that I've been reading the last book in the Remnant Chronicles by Mary E. Pearson. This one is called The Beauty of Darkness. And this book is almost 700 pages. The first two books in the series were around like 400-ish pages, 400 to 500. So this one was like 200 pages longer than the other two. But weirdly, I flew through it faster than I did the previous book. If you're not aware of what the Remnant Chronicles is about, I'll give you a quick little synopsis. It's about a princess who is being forced into an arranged marriage, and on the day of her wedding she runs and escapes with her best friend to try to live a normal life. And then the prince of the other kingdom she was supposed to marry goes to find her, as well as an assassin from an enemy kingdom goes to hunt her down. And when you're reading the first book, you don't know who's who. And that's kind of a synopsis of the series. This last book, I said this in my previous video, but like had a lot of ground to cover. This is gonna be a no spoiler zone, obviously, but a lot happens in this book, and a lot needed to happen, so that makes sense. I will say, I think the pacing of this book was a little quick. Just because it had so much ground to cover, but I still really enjoyed it. I found myself like flying through the pages. At this point you're like really connected with the characters. Like you love her best friend Pauline, you love Caden, you love Raffi. I won't tell you who's who, but yeah, you love all the characters. To me, the Remnant Chronicles, this is a trilogy, and it feels very like, it's her young adults. It was published in 2014, but it feels very like high fantasy, for young adults. Like I feel like this is a good like step for like if you're a teen or something. Like I would have loved this series even more than I enjoyed it now, like back when I was a teen, because I feel like it's a really good like primer for high fantasy and adult fantasy. And on that same note, I would say that my only real criticism is to do with the pacing. The final battle scene in this book is only like maybe like a chapter or two. Like it wraps up, it's such like a built up thing, and it wraps up really quickly in my opinion. But I think that's just because I'm used to reading adult fantasy. And if this were an adult series, this battle would have gone on like chapters and chapters long, and I feel like the conclusions wouldn't have like come quite as easily. There are definitely some like scenes where like the resolutions just happened a little too conveniently for my taste, but again, this, since it's young adult, like I don't really see that as a fault. It was more just thinking like if this were an adult fantasy, they couldn't have gotten away with that. But I still, overall, I gave this 4 stars, just like the other 2 books. I really loved it. And I really love this cover too. Very pretty. Definitely a chunko book. But yeah, I think I finished this in like 2 days, 2 or 3 days. But yeah, this definitely holds up in my opinion. It's a good, solid, young adult, high fantasy. So yeah, finish this book. And then to go along with it, I wanted to show you some of the special editions I have that of this series. So before I had read it or finished it, I took a gamble and ordered the, I believe it's the Fairy Loot special editions of this series. And I'm really glad I did because I really enjoyed this series, so I'm happy to have these editions now. So I don't think I've ever shown them before. So I was just going to give you a closer look now that I have actually finished reading the series. So this is, I'll give you a quick look at what they look like together, even though it's very heavy, so bear with me. So these are the sprayed edges of the series. Sorry if that doesn't really fit in frame. I've never really seen sprayed edges like this. It's the map, but just like on the pages. And then the backs each have a quote. It's sprayed on the ends as well. And this is what they look like just kind of together. But obviously you couldn't really get a good look there, so I'll show you one by one what they look like. So the first book obviously is The Kiss of Deception, which is this book. If I did have any criticism of this edition, I would say the dust jackets feel very fragile. So like, I am trying to be very gentle with them. So yeah, this is the cover. It says The Kiss of Deception, The Kiss of Deception on it. It has these like foiled little symbols of like the grapes, the crown, a dagger. It says it on the spine as well. And then there's the pages, and this is the back. The back says, "There's one true history and one true future. Listen well, for the child sprung from misery will be the one to bring hope. From the weakest will come strength. From the hunted will come freedom." So yeah, prophecy. There's a prophecy in this series that plays a very big part in the story. It's been a while since I've looked on the insides. There is art. So let me take off the dust jacket very carefully. Because again, I like to be very careful with my special editions. Like, usually they cost a lot. So I don't want to mess them up at all. This is the cover. Very pretty. It's like a gold embossment. Has the title on the spine, and then on the inside, this is always my favorite part of special editions, is the character art or the in-paper art. So yes, this is our girl Leah. Very pretty. Actually, also pretty close to how I pictured her in my head, so it's always a bonus. And there's different art on this page. Oh yes. So here's our two mysterious hunters. One is a prince, one is an assassin. I will not be obviously spoiling who's who, but fun. Yeah, so I love the artist for this edition. I think that's my favorite part. So let me put this back on. I just thought, I haven't decided if I'll show you the art on the other two in case it's spoilery. I'll look and see if it's spoilery or not. Because obviously I don't want to ruin anything for you if you plan on reading the series. But yes, here's the second book, The Heart of Betrayal. It's very similar to the first book, but this one says, "I weep for you, my brothers and sisters, I weep for us all, for though my days here can be counted, your years of struggle have just begun." So, this book, Again, these dust jackets make me nervous. On this one is a different character on the front. I will not tell you who. Let me look at the art to see if it's spoilery or not. I don't want to spoil you, so. I don't think this will spoil. Yeah, this really says nothing. So here's the art on the inside of this one. Love the art. Again, just I can't get over it. Very pretty. And here's the art on this one. Okay, and then lastly, here is the third book. This is The Beauty of Darkness. And on the back of this book says, "The crowned and beaten, the tongue and sword, together they will attack, like blinding stars thrown from the heavens." And here is the third book. To be quite honest with you, it would take me a while. I don't even know if I could say definitively like who's who on the second cover versus this cover, so I don't think this is a spoiler because even I don't know. So yeah, this is not really a spoiler. Here's the end pages here. I just love the art again, like just it feels very fantasy to me. So. Oh, and I forgot to mention this, but each of these copies are signed by the author. So that's pretty cool. But let me show you the final art. Yeah. There we go. There's Leah. Stunning. Okay, and so those are the Remnant Chronicles. Those are the Fairy Loot Special Editions. I've officially finished that series, so it's very exciting. On to the book haul. So I said I had 3 books technically. The reason is that 2 of the books that arrived are actually the sequel, or not the sequel, but the spin-off series of the Remnant Chronicles. So let me just catch you up. So like Mary E. Pearson wrote this trilogy, the Remnant Chronicles, and then she wrote a spin-off duology set in the same world, but about different characters. And from what I know, it's characters we haven't met yet. I could be wrong. I haven't read them yet. So, but I got the special editions of those, so I thought maybe I would show you them now since they came in today. So the first book is called Dance of Thieves. It says, "Hold on, no matter what you have to do. Survive no matter who you have to kill." Intense. So, let me take off the dust jacket. These dust jackets actually feel like higher quality or firmer than the others, so it's a good thing. But we have the girl on the cover. I don't know her name. I think it's Kazi or Kazi. Yeah, so there's her on the cover. I don't think this art should be spoilery because the others weren't, so. Very lovely. She's beautiful. And then the art on the other side. It's always someone with someone's knife to someone else's throat. A fantasy classic. So, and I notice they like to do that in the art too, so. I mean, it's dramatic, it makes a point, so I get it. Vow of Thieves. The back says, it doesn't always take an army to save the world. Sometimes it takes just one person who won't let evil win. So this is our main character. I think I know his name is Jace, like Jace, I'm pretty sure. I think this is the duology that kind of blew up online, like even before the trilogy did. Like obviously the Remnant Chronicles were very popular back in the day, but they blew up like again once TikTok, like Book Talk became a thing. I think people found these first and then went back and read the Remnant Chronicles. I could be wrong. But here is the art on the inside. Very pretty. I know nothing about this character, so just letting you know. Very pretty. I think this is the same artist. I'm very curious. Like which ones I'll like more, like the trilogy or the spinoff. So that'll be interesting to find out. Those are all the special editions I wanted to show, and on to a very short book haul. Hopefully this video is not going on too long. Let me take a quick drink so that I can actually talk. I'm not really a big fan of mouth sounds, so I will hopefully edit that out if that is not your thing, because I understand, I get it. The other book that I got in the mail that is not related to the Remnant Chronicles is the Fox and Wit pick of the month, which is, so spoiler, don't look if you get that subscription box, is Fallen Thorns by Harvey Oliver Baxter. I really love the spookiness of this cover. It's very pretty. It's definitely giving horror, gothic horror. And so I've heard this is a queer horror story. I actually really love the original cover too, so I might pick up that cover as well if I end up liking the story, but this is stunning. Here's the back. It's just more of the cityscape. And I know it's about a vampire, and you know I'm in my vampire era. I mean, I never left it. I've always been a lover of the vampire in any form. So I just watched, I'm in the middle of rewatching Interview with a Vampire for like the 7th time, 7th or 8th. And I'm not joking, like that's how many times I've just been rewatching it on loop because I don't want to move on. So, but anyways, it's beside the point. I'm gonna take off the dust jacket. And this is what the cover looks like. It's like this stained window, which is beautiful. Like, oh, so stunning. And it has the same sort of mirrory effect on the title. Very pretty book. And it has in paper art as well. I think it's the same thing on both sides. Yes. And it's also, I think, signed by the author. And has a ribbon bookmark, which is always pretty. As you know, I don't really like to know a lot about books when I go into them, but I will give you a brief synopsis of what I know. The author says, "May I present to you my dark coming-of-age campus novel laced with fantastical elements and religious imagery set against the backdrop of an old English city. At its core, the story is a story of relationships, friendships, and family, and the power these bonds hold. This debut novel is a story about a queer, neurodivergent vampire boy who just wants to write poetry, but fate has other plans for him. So that just sounded really good. And so I got it, and this is it. Very pretty. This cover is very different from the original, but it has sort of like a classic-y vibe almost, which I really appreciate. But yeah, if I end up loving this, I do think I'm going to pick up a copy with the original cover because it's also stunning. The last thing I wanted to just put in here at the end is what book am I going to read next? I do want to read the spin-off duology, The Dance of Thieves duology by Mary E. Pearson. I don't know if I'm going to jump into that right now or if I'm going to like give it some time, but I have already started a new book because my sister loves this series, this book, and has convinced me to read it along with her. So the prequel to this just came out, so she's reading the prequel. I am reading currently this first book, which is called The Black Tongue Thief by Christopher Buehlman. This has gotten a lot of praise from people that I respect and just like whose opinion matters to me, I guess. Reagan from Peru's Project, as I've mentioned before, she loved this book. My sister loved this book, and she's a hard sell. So this is an adult fantasy debut. I think it's a debut. And it's very like, it has lots of elements of Dungeons and Dragons. It's a quest book, I believe. Again, adult fantasy. We follow a thief, the Black Tongue Thief, as he accidentally tries to steal from a woman that he should not have tried to steal from because it gets him caught up in all sorts of things, apparently. I haven't gotten that far in it, so, but yeah. Let me see if I should read this. Set in a world of goblin wars, stag-sized battle ravens, and assassins who kill with deadly tattoos, The Black Tongue Thief begins a dazzling fantasy adventure unlike any other. So yeah, it's blurbed by Robin Hobb, who, if you know, it's Robin Hobb, so. I think that's all I'll say. Because again, I haven't gotten that far into it and I don't really want to know much. Again, I'm only like 40 pages in, so I don't know a lot, but so far the writing is really engaging, like right off the bat. I really like our main character so far. Don't know his name, but I like him. So I do think this is going to be really good. This is the Broken Binding edition. So it comes with these sprayed edges, and it's signed. So it has this ribbon bookmark as well. This is actually my sister's. I had to order them for her because she really liked this series. So I saw them and I was like, well, I can't not, you know. It's too good of an opportunity. So yeah, I am reading this now. So far it's really good. I will keep you updated. But yeah, that was it for this video. I appreciate you watching. Let me know if there's anything you want to see else, any other bookish content you want to see. If you've read or heard of any of these books, please let me know. I love to talk about them with you. And that's it. So I will see you in my next one. Thanks.